Good morning, everybody. I think I finally figured it out. So if you guys can just let me know if the audio is all good and if what you're seeing is all good. You should see my fingers on the screen. I'm going to be doing this drawing pretty small because we want to cover it today. We want to get it done as soon as we can. So I've got you guys on Facebook in front of me, and I have you guys on YouTube to the left of me. And who have we got? We've got Chris, Maureen. Hey guys, thank you. I appreciate that. So Maureen, Sandra, Chris Crofts, Rob, Hamlet, Brenda. Hey guys, thank you for all the birthday wishes. Yep, it's nice. First of the month. Nice and easy to remember. Okay, so this image right here is just a print on regular paper. So I'm going to transfer this onto my paper. And the paper I'm using is just this scrap. So I've got a piece of the Pt1's touch paper left. So it's like a gray tone. And I'm going to use this piece of paper. So I have some tape here somewhere to tape it down. Let me do that real quick. We've got some people that are new to the channel. Welcome. Making sure I'm sticking that down properly. Thanks, guys. Yep. So if there isn't, whatever number is the last number of the year is the last number of my age. I'm 28 today. It's weird because I've been saying that I've been 28 for a while now. So the last couple of months I asked, how old are you? Like 28. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not 28 yet. Thank you, Esme. Okay, so that's stuck down. So easiest way to transfer, quickest way, and most accurate way to transfer is if you're going to trace. So I love using a pan pastel. It's really easy. It's the quickest way to place color on the back of your print. So I just have this one next to me all the time, pretty much. So burnt sienna shade, and then I have a sponge like this. It's one of the soft applicator sponges, and block that in. Seriously, that took 2 seconds. And then place it where you want on your drawing paper and transfer the image. Now I do have a couple of, if you look at my playlist called real-time videos or real-time tutorials, something like that, I have a couple of videos on there where I show you how I freehand my outlines. So now I'm just using an etching tool like this to transfer the outline onto my drawing paper. So there you can see the line. And I just want to do this real quick. So I can only stream for 2 hours today, so I want to smash this and just get it done. So the paper that I'm using is the Canson Pt1's touch paper. This is, I think, it's some sort of warm gray color. And I am going to be using my Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils, which are an oil-based pencil. So you can use polychromos if you want, or whatever oil-based pencil you want. I think the Derwent Studio pencils as well work great. You could use wax-based pencils on this as well. I'm just giving you alternatives to the supplies I am using. But you could also use wax-based pencils on this paper, no problem. And then to blend, I'm going to be using my Zested pencil blend. Hey Wendy, thank you very much. Oh, cool. Birthdays, anniversaries, all at the same time. Rob. Oh, I better put my phone on silent, because I'm gonna get a whole bunch of calls and that now. Oh no! Hopefully they can see on Facebook that I'm live. I wonder if I can share. I should probably share it on my own page so that my friends and family can see that I'm busy. I'll call them afterwards. I wonder if there's a way I can share this. Can you share live streams? Share. I'll just copy the main thing, maybe. Post. Maybe not. I don't know. Can someone share this live stream? The Facebook one on my Facebook page? Maureen, could you do that maybe? I don't know how to do it. I'm not sure. I'll share the YouTube one. So this seems to be a little bit lower down. So let's move this up. Yeah. Okay, so what are we doing today? Today we are drawing the February challenge of the month for Colored Pencil magazine. So every month they put a challenge in their magazine where they'll provide you with a royalty-free photograph, and then you can draw it and enter it to win some art supplies or art gift vouchers. So I don't enter the competition, I just show you guys how to draw it, and then I encourage you guys to enter, because then it'll be fun for you guys to potentially win some art supplies. So they do have a beginners and an advanced entry, so, and then they also select, out of all the entrants, they select a random winner for a gift voucher as well. So the rules are, as long as 80% of the drawing is done in pencils, colored pencils, they don't accept pastels, it has to be colored pencils, and 80% colored pencils, then you can qualify to enter. So the link is in the description on my YouTube channel. I will place it on here afterwards, but just look up coloredpencilmagazine.com and then go to the monthly contest or something tab, and then you should be able to be directed to this image, and you can download the photo and get all the instructions on how to enter the competition. So I don't think, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do the sort of laced material at the bottom. I'll just draw the, what do you call this see-through like plastic film? Cellophane? So I'll draw that, but I'm not going to draw the lacing at the bottom. So I don't think I'm drawing this very straight either. I don't want the stream to go on too long, so that's why I'm doing this quicker. If you're going to do it, I don't want you to rush. Especially if you're going to enter, then take your time. Yes, cellophane. Thank you, Dana. Okay, I will read your comments in that every couple of minutes. If you have a question for me, please put it in capital letters. It just makes it easier for me to spot, and then I can read it instead of going through every comment, because if I keep looking at the comments, I'm not going to be drawing as much because I'm going to be looking up as much. I don't have someone here that can read it to me. So if you want me to see anything, just type it out in capital letters. If I've missed anything, just type it out again. I do read it, but it's easier if it is in capital letters. Okay. I didn't stick this down very well, so I feel like it's moved around quite a bit at the bottom. Wendy says, I just started using my Pablo pencils, and you absolutely love them. They're a really, really great pencil. Very good quality pencil. You can buy them open stock, which is really great. Okay, so now let's outline these chocolates. So I am assuming that Colored Pencil Magazine decided to use this as their challenge image because it's February and Valentine's Day is coming up, so I'd assume that is why they picked this. Oh, and Colored Pencil Magazine doesn't ask me to do this. I just do this because it's a fun tutorial that I can demonstrate live, and it's something that you guys can benefit from, because if you draw it, you can obviously enter and maybe win something. So the reason is more for you. And then I don't have a choice in the matter, because whatever it is what I'm going to be drawing. I'm not picking the subject or something. So it's good, because then I challenge myself in things that I may not potentially decide to draw ever. I thought I'd put this in. Oh my gosh, I moved this around so much. I've got like double outlines. Tape it down properly if you're going to transfer your image like I am right now. I need to check. I think that Colored Pencil Magazine lets you use watercolor pencils. And I like using watercolor pencils from time to time as an underpainting, and then putting my details over the top with my oil and wax-based pencils. So maybe the next one we'll do like that, so we can use the watercolor pencils and our wax and oil-based pencils together. And the music I'm listening to is from Epidemic Sound, if anyone's wondering. Honey, Taylor. Crazy animals. Come relax. Esme's saying, are you recording? After the transfer, yes, after the transfer. Yeah, I'm just chasing for the sake of time. It's quicker. Because if I was going to freehand this, it'd probably take me a bit more than an hour. Which we don't have time for. Because I can only stream for 2 hours today. I thought I did this one. Two more chocolates. Then we're good to go. So I'll tell you what I'll be doing. So I will be using my Pablo pencils and creating very rough, like underpainting first, and blend that in with solvent before I even think about adding any details. And I'm not aiming to be perfect because I cannot do that with the amount of time that I have. But who says you have to get a hyper-realistic result? You can make your chocolates look not so hyper-realistic. It's up to you. Okay, and these patterns, I'll do those little patterns after. Let's just get the main sort of dip in there. Okay, cool. And then I also have my nice copy over here, which I'll have right next to it. So that's the reference I'll be looking at. And where's my... I forgot my water and my tea. Anyways, I'll survive. So let's use... So I want to do the underpainting of all of this. So I'm going to use a nice rich red over here. So let's use... Carmine number 080. It's very hard to read these. So I'm going to show you just how quick an underpainting can be. You don't have to add much detail. So this color looks pretty pink, which is fine because we can add some richer colors on there. I better start recording. Okay, turn that on. It is, when it comes to tracing and freehanding, it's really good to trace and freehand the same image if you could do that. So trace it once or twice first, and then that way your brain registers the true curves and shapes and motions of what you're drawing, and then when you freehand it, because you have like a memory of it already in your mind and you understand how the shapes really go, by the time you freehand it, it's going to be better set in your mind. And the more you do that, the more you will start learning to observe a lot more accurately. So if you just go ahead and freehand, it's almost like your brain sometimes thinks it sees something when it doesn't, and then your shapes don't end up being as realistic as they could be, and then it's sometimes hard for you to figure out where you went wrong. But if you trace first and then you freehand, you will already be familiar with the true lines of what you're doing. So using both methods is very good. And if you're using vector lines like I do for freehanding, then you don't have to trace, because those lines are also helping you observe different points and stuff. So the lines also sort of add or work as a guideline, a grid guideline in a sense. So I'm going to use this color here as well. This red actually needs to be a lot deeper. Deeper than this red here, so that's why I'm just going to add this here. But you'll see when I add my solvent, it's going to be super bright. So it's not going to be as light as what you're seeing now, and it's by no means going to be textured like this at all. It's going to look very smooth. So don't worry about the texture of the paper, because this is a sanded paper, which means it's very textured. But you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So now I would like to add some dark carmine. Sharpen that real quick. So add this darker color over the top here. And I'm not pressing hard, I'm pressing very lightly. You do not have to use any pressure ever, especially if you're using sanded paper. Because the paper just like grips the pencil. It does create a lot of dust though, so you've got to keep your station clean. Wicked. The same stream is happening on Facebook right now. So you can watch through Facebook or YouTube. Stephanie's asking, is the Meton's text paper different to the touch? It's not different in grit. It's only different in weight of paper. I think the text paper is just a little bit heavier, but the top texture of the paper and the grit of the paper is the same. So I have both, but you can easily get the text in Australia and the touch in the US. So those in the US don't as easily get their hands on the text. And I also found it very hard to get the touch paper here. I ended up paying a fair bit in shipping to get the touch paper here. So I probably wouldn't buy the touch again. I'll just stick to the text. Now let's fill this brown in for the box. It's a real chocolate brown. This may sound weird, but I hate wearing mascara, and I don't like wearing the eyelashes with glue. I do not like having the glue anywhere near me. So I got these lashes, which are super cool because they are magnetic. So for a second I thought that I lost one. I don't have to use any mascara, and I don't have to use any glue. I can just pop them on and that's it. And then at the end of the stream I just take them off. And then my eyes stay nice and clean. Oh, the color I'm using now is the chestnut, number 057. I should just record this. There we go. I'm not worried about the highlighting or anything. What happened here? I have like two completely different circles happening here and here. So you need to tape your outline down properly, because otherwise you're going to get this. So I guess I'll just pay extra attention to my reference and not my dodgy outlines. So I'm not doing anything fancy with this reference like I did with the last one, where I put the profile silhouette sort of portrait over the top of the sunset. This one I'm literally just doing what the reference is. But go ahead and be creative, because the Color Pencil magazine encourages that. I encourage that too. So maybe stick something else instead of a chocolate in each one. Maybe you can swap one of them out for a little ornament or a piece of jewelry or something like that instead of chocolate. Or you can put a little person sitting in there or something. Put an eyeball in one. Make it freaky. Sure, be creative. Or make the chocolates colorful, like candies instead of chocolates. Have fun with it. Yeah, the supplies are listed in the description, but I'm using the the Canton Meton's Touch paper, and I am using my Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils, and as a solvent I'm using the Zested pencil blend. We'll be using that. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, but I think I ruined the Facebook live stream. I pressed stop streaming on OBS. With YouTube I can do that and then I can start the stream again and it'll work fine, but it doesn't seem to do that with Facebook. So if I've missed you on Facebook, you won't know. You'll have to come to YouTube. Unless it's starting a new live on Facebook. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. It's always trial and error in the beginning. Yeah, I just got a delivery. So I got this really nice big light pad. So it's an A2 size light pad. And somewhere, I don't know where I saw it, but when recording, because you know how lighting is a big issue with your videos, so when recording sometimes it's easier, or the lighting is more balanced if you actually have a light pad underneath your drawing, especially if you're using sanded paper, so you can't see through the sanded paper, but it's balancing the lighting with what you're recording, so you've got even lighting underneath your entire drawing, and supposedly that makes it easier to see. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to test that. And maybe I'll literally use that light pad as a drawing surface continuously throughout the drawing so that the lighting in the recordings will look much more even. So I don't know, that's something to experiment with. So that's what I got in the mail, if anyone was wondering. Am I live again on Facebook? I don't know. It seems so. It would seem so. And now I'll figure it out another time. Okay, so now I want to use a dark brown for the shadows. So let's use the Sepia number 407, and that's going to be around the chocolates. Now I'm literally showing you how rough you can be in the beginning with your underpainting stage. You do not have to be detailed at all. I know a lot of you are perfectionists and you want to get it perfect and looking amazing straight up from the beginning, but that's not necessary. It is not necessary. So yeah, so this here, so the shadows around the chocolates. My camera's not positioned right, so I'm not going to continue to record. I'm just recording the live stream. I guess I will cut it. I think if anyone's brand new to my channel and they're coming in now and having a look at what I'm drawing, they're gonna be like, what? This person calls herself an artist? But yep, this is the beginning stages. You gotta get through the ugly before you get through the good. Yeah, I don't have a good spot for the watch. Gotta put the watch in there somehow. There we go. Mr. Watch is back. Cool. Reference photo on screen. I didn't download it. Okay, I got it. It's gonna be small, but that's what we're doing. Thank you, Rob. Thanks, guys. Felicity's birthday tomorrow. Congratulations. Aquarius babies. Apparently we are in the age of Aquarius. So it moved from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius in 2012. And then that age lasts like 25,000 years. Fascinating. So there was this supermoon last night, the blue moon, it's a blue moon, red moon, supermoon and eclipse all at the same time, and the weather was horrible. So I was outside last night at midnight and I watched the eclipse, but it was like a hazy mist over the whole thing, so I couldn't see any details, but at least I could still see the color and the shape. And so I didn't even bother taking my telescope out because it was just too foggy. But regardless of that, the entire night sky was so bright because of the moon. It was beautiful. So at least I got to see the eclipse, and I got to see just how red the moon was. The moon was so red, it just looked unreal. It looked like a complete different planet. So it was still a nice experience, although I would have loved to have had a clear night. I know that those in Perth had a pretty clear view of it, because it was a nice clear sky. So did anyone else see that? If you're on Facebook, I can't see if you're commenting, so just make sure that you move over to YouTube instead. Okay, now let's I'm going to take my white 001 and I'm actually going to, so I'll put it over here at the top. But before I add the red sort of cellophane over this section here, I'm actually going to put a layer of white down the bottom first, so that when we apply the red over the top, it's going to look brighter and pigmented. Or I hope that it will. So I'm gonna block this in. Who knows, maybe we will get to do the lacing. No worries. Aslan says this morning she saw the moon and it was bigger and really bright. I'm so jealous. That's something that we would never get to experience again in our lifetimes. So if you got to see it, then that's wonderful. Oopsie. Not very straight over there. Which is fine. Using the dark carmine, I just want to fix that edge up there. Okay, let's blend this in with our solvent, and I'll show you how good this looks as an underpainting, and then we can get started with the detailing. So the first couple of layers are always going to be pretty boring. Just cleaning my brush. So I finished that really cool fantasy art piece yesterday, finally, and all my brushes are still very colorful from it, from blending it. Okay, so I'm just using a number 10 U Spicy makeup brush to blend, and you can see it's a bit blue, but I think I got most of it off. So I dipped it in my zested pencil blend. Don't put too much on there because you'll just make all the color move around instead of blending together. So this is how we make it look super smooth and pigmented. I love this stuff. Look how smooth that looks. You'll never say that that is sanded paper. To think that that turns into that just from a drop of pigment. I mean solvent. It's amazing. So with the amount of solvent and stuff that you put down, I get this question all this time, like how much solvent, how do you know if you got enough solvent, or if you're putting too much solvent, or if you're using the right size brush, or if your layers don't want to blend together nicely and all that. That is what you have to go through with practice. So you got to get a feel for it. It's very hard to, I can explain it to you, but you're not going to know until you try it and you actually figure it out for yourself. My words will mean nothing. So you got to, so right now I can see that that's a bit too dry because it's starting to mush the pigments around on the side, so it's like it's rubbing it off. So then I need to add a bit more pigment, and then if you add, more solvent, but if you add too much solvent, it's just gonna turn into a liquidy blobby mess. So it's just something you have to play with. Like that is a bit too much solvent, but because I know how to sort of brush it back in to give it a clear look again, I'm okay with using that amount of solvent, but that it's literally something that you just have to play with and get used to. It's not something that you're going to get right straight away. So some of you might. Some of you will just get the feel for it, especially if you're coming from a painting background. Then you sort of just know how to work your brushes and manipulate the pigment. But if you don't have a painting background and you're jumping straight into pencil, the blending with solvent might be a little bit of a tricky one. And I love sandpaper because you can put light colors over dark. So like if I lose this entire white line, I can easily put it straight back in. Okay, so I'll just continue to blend that way. So I want to blend the white section now, so I'm just making sure that I'm cleaning my brush from the red. So just on a paper towel, I'm just wiping it all off. And then I'll come in and blend this, which still has a bit of red on, so it's going to look pink. But that's okay. I don't think it'll look bad if it looks pink. And we can always come over the top of it with another layer of white if we feel we need to. cool. So Felicity says, I already had a go with this one and used the sandpaper with my polychromos. I thought it was going to be impossible, but I actually really enjoyed doing it. It is, it's great, isn't it? Once you get the hang of it, it's like, it's the best paper ever. And then you find that you don't use your wax-based pencils as much because your polychromos pencils, or, excuse me, your oil-based pencils are enough for it. Usually on watercolor paper, we like mixing the wax-based pencils with the oil-based pencils because the wax-based pencils seem to have a brighter pigment. It's more, yeah, I don't know, the color seems brighter. It's not quite as dull as the oil-based pencils on watercolor paper, but when you're using sandpaper, it doesn't matter. Your oil-based pencils still bring out a really, really strong color. I actually really like the pink. But anyways, let's say you didn't want it that pink, you want it even lighter, you can just go over it again with another layer of white. And with sandpaper, it doesn't seem to matter if you're going to blend it with solvent. It doesn't matter the direction that you're going in with your pencil. You can go in all sorts of directions. It can look, you know, cross-hatched and that. The minute you add the solvent, you're just using your brush to blend it back out. So really, you can use your brush and your solvent to create texture instead of literally using the pencil strokes to create a textured look. I love how you can just add lighter colors over the top. I mean, this is the color of the paper, and look, you can just bring out any color over the top of the paper. Okay, let's blend in the rest. Clean that off. It is a little bit contrasted, yes. So actually what I'm seeing on this screen is pretty close to the real thing. The colors are that bright. It's just a bit darker in the sense of lighting. And mine also seems to be a little bit more matte. So when it dries, it seems like it's very matte. But in terms of the intensity of the color, it is the same as what you guys are seeing on the screen. I'm going to use a smaller brush here. Which really needs cleaning because it's like black. Okay. Just me, or is this like slightly skew? Ah, the frame with my head has a lot of contrast. It does too. I look way more tanned on there than what I really am. Esme's saying, since this is sanded paper, does the texture lift off at all? It does. So, how can I explain? So it's like, it turns into like a real powdery thing. So I can't layer that much more on top of this, because then it's just gonna fall off. So you sort of use your solvent in a way to seal that powder into the paper, or to press it into the paper, so it's no longer a powdery pencil core, but it's been turned into a liquid core. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, you need to you either need to burnish it in, so force it in with the force or the pressure of your pencil, which I wouldn't recommend, or you use a solvent or a blender pencil to push it in. So, and then if you're using pan pastels on this paper, you have to, after 1 or 2 layers, you have to spray it with workable fixative before you can add your next layer of pan pastels. Sister's asking, have I tried kneaded graphite? No, I've tried the graphite that works with water. Is that what you're talking about? It's like putty, graphite putty. Yes, I did try that. It's very messy, but it's very fun. Brenda's saying, loved your clouds with unmasked art. Thank you. Yeah, that was really, really good. I love my clouds too. Definitely a much easier way to do clouds than using layers of colored pencils. So using pastels on pastel matte paper to draw clouds was very, very simple. So if I try to do the same thing using colored pencils, it would have taken me so much longer. So it was a great lesson. Aslan's asking, can you add more layers of pencil with sanded paper? Yes, with sanded paper you can add more layers than what you can with watercolor paper. Because it's got the textured surface, it's not that easy to lose any grip in a sense. So yes, you can use way more layers. And if you're using this method, you're never going to run out of layers, because you're never going to affect the tooth of the paper, because you're not using any pressure to ever affect the tooth of the paper. You can do clouds. If you keep telling yourself you can't do clouds, then you can't do clouds. You have to tell yourself, I can do clouds, and do it. And you will. There's this cool scene in the new Cars movie with Lightning McQueen. I love it. So it's the latest movie. Lightning McQueen is sort of becoming out of date in a sense. And he's still racing. And then there's his trainer tells him about how she always wanted to be a race car. And she asked Lightning McQueen, how do you do it? How did you know that you were a race car and that you could race? And Lightning McQueen said he just never thought that he couldn't do it. That thought never crossed his mind. He always believed that he could do it. And that was the key. So you need to just know or believe that you can do it without telling yourself that you can't. Otherwise you won't get it. And that's it. I think if I think back on my drawing, I've never thought that I can't do it. I see other videos and I'm inspired by it and I'm like, I want to do that. And then I will keep trying until I do it. So I never have the mentality of I can't. And when you train yourself to lose that mentality, you will get there. You'll get it. I mean, I'm also, another example is I am not an exercising kind of person, and my boyfriend loves to do downhill mountain bike riding. And so the one day, because he bought me a decent bike a while back, a mountain bike, a very nice mountain bike. And then the one day he's like, well, let's go and try. You know, I can only try and see. See how it would be. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't think to myself that I can't do it. I was like, I thought to myself, I'm likely to fall off, so I'm not going to be afraid of falling off. I'm just going to be prepared to fall off, and I'm going to do it and see how I go. And I did. I fell off many times, but I ended up really enjoying it, because you're in the trees, you're in the forest. It was hard work. I really struggled because I don't exercise much. But I still enjoyed myself, and I still enjoyed being out there in nature and being with him. So you just, with anything that you come across in your life, you just have to believe that you can do it. And if you have the support of others, then even better. It'll make it much easier. Sandra's asking, is a stiff brush best for solvents than a soft brush? It depends on what you're doing. So if you're covering a large area, you can use a softer brush. If you want to be a little bit more detailed, like here, I've got a more of a straight brush, not completely flat, but mostly flat and a bit more stiff. So that gives me a little bit more control. So I'd say you'd use all of them. You'd use soft brushes and firm brushes. So just have them sort of at hand. Doesn't have to be any special fancy brand. I mean, half the brushes I use are makeup brushes. These are acrylic brushes. I don't even know what they are, but they are nice and firm. Well, this one is. So yeah, just have a play. Aslan's asking, have you ever used Faber-Castell Polychromos? Yes, that is my most used pencil brand. I've only been using the Pablos lately because I've been using these pencils on my last 2 drawings. So I sort of just kept them out for this one. But most of the time I use the Polychromos pencils. I'd say the quality of the polychromos are just as good as the Pablos. I can't see that much of a difference in quality. Both of them are really, really good. But the polychromos are cheaper. So it's if you want a more budget-friendly option, then stick to the polychromos. So when I start running out of my Pablo pencils, I'm not gonna worry about replacing them. I think I'll just keep going back to my polychromos pencils. Rob, if you're talking about the student portal Facebook group, I need the email that you use to log into your Facebook. Because Facebook won't notice an email that it's not registered with. So I need the email address that you use to log into your Facebook, and then I can add you to the student portal group. But if you're talking about the Art Hordes group, then that one, you just have to join. I think you are part of that group already. But I mean, if you have a look at the pigment that we've got down on this already, if I was doing this on watercolor paper, it would take me 2, 3, 4 layers to get this pigmented a color, or this bright a color. So this paper is going to save you a lot of time, because color pencils, it's already a very time-consuming medium. So if you can save time just by the paper that you use, then I don't see why you wouldn't. Okay, I want to blend in this white over here, so using a smaller brush. Okay. The chocolates, just a rough underpainting for the chocolates, and then we'll do the detailing. So, let's It's a real caramel color. So I'm going to use the hazel number 053. Hey Luke, yeah, I saw that. So you should be able to still log into the student portal as per normal. So nothing's changed. So I'm just going to block that in for the caramel colored chocolates. I'll probably add a bit of yellow as well. Again, I'm not even thinking about detail yet. This is just underpainting. You would usually have your tape right around the edges to keep the edges nice and clean. But, yeah. Mine are not going to be. Then I'd like to add like a yellowish color to it. So let's use ochre 035. Yes, that's the color. See, I don't even care if I go over the edges a little. Doesn't matter. Those chocolates are like a dark, almost like a black brown color. So let's use charcoal gray 409. Yes, I'm actually going that dark. Oh my gosh, I have like a million notifications on my phone. I will actually use this on this one. So it's so nice using sanded paper because I'm not afraid at all of going too dark because I know that I can go lighter over the top. Let's add some of these shadow bit areas in again. A lot of room for error when you use sanded paper because it's so easy to fix. Sorry, let me answer some questions. Lady Marigold is asking, would the brush and pencil colored pencil powder work the same as the solvent? Yes, you could use it instead of the solvent, but as far as I know, and I still have to experiment with this myself, it does not come out as pigmented, so it looks a lot more matte. It doesn't come out quite as bright when you use the powder blender, and you have to use a lot of layers of fixative in between. So with this, you don't have to use a fixative, you only have to use a final fixative at the end. So it's up to you what you decide to use, but yes, you can use the powder blender. And powder blender is meant to be used on sanded paper as well, so if you're going to use it, you want to use it on this paper. Okay, so I need a color for those chocolates. Wait, this one can be this dark color too. Oopsie. And then these ones can be this color, brown ochre. Right, so that's an underpainting. That's a complete underpainting. Now, after we blend it with solvent, it's a complete underpainting. So let's do the lighter ones first. Nah, it's me. No comment. That should say it all. Tommy's asking, hey Sheldine, why did you pick this subject and what subjects usually catch your interest? I did not pick this subject. This is the subject for the February Colored Pencil Magazine monthly challenge. So the reason I'm doing this is so that you guys can draw it and enter it into the Colored Pencil Magazine and maybe win something. So I'm not entering mine, I'm just demonstrating how I do it. But it gives you guys a chance to enter and see if you guys can win something. So that's the reason I'm doing this one. So I do that every month. I do the Colored Pencil Magazine monthly challenge. Just a nice fun subject for everyone to interact, and then you guys could potentially get something out of it too. But usually when I pick my subject matter, I mainly pick it according to what my students want to learn. So I would have a poll every month, and then my students will tell me what it is they want to know. And then I will pick an image based on what they want to learn. So that's how I pick it. So nothing too interesting. And then once a month as well, I design a fantasy art piece, which would be my own design. and then yeah, draw that. I only just started that, so I just finished my first one, which I finished yesterday. So you can see on my Facebook page what it looks like. It looks amazing. I'm very, very proud of it. And I should have the time-lapse video of that on, I don't know, sometime. Yes, these chocolates look black. That is okay. Can you use a smaller brush for the areas around it? And then we can start with the detailing. That's great, Diane. I love that you guys give it a go. I actually forgot to share this with Colored Pencil magazine. Facebook. Well, share it after. Okay, cool. Now we can start with detailing. So I'm wondering if I want to do the chocolate. I think I want to do the tray. I want to do the tray first, and then focus on the chocolates. So this one. So I'm taking the cinnamon color. Am I? No. It needs to be a darker brown. This one. That area, and then this one. So I'm just testing some colors. Yeah, why not? Okay. So I'm going to use the Umber 049 and the Chestnut 057. Rob's asking, will you paint the black background with acrylic paint for the upcoming peacock feathers tutorial? Well, we are going to do something first. We are literally going to test 6 different ways of getting a black background to find which one is the one that is the most black, and then we'll use that one for the peacock. So we're going to test black acrylic paint on sanded paper. We're going to test ink, black ink on sanded paper. We're going to test pan pastel and black pan pastel. We're going to test black pencil. We're going to test normal black drawing paper, and we're going to test the black Meton's touch paper, which is pretty black. So we're going to see, and then we're going to roughly draw a nice bright feather over those black backgrounds and find out which one we like the most, and then we will decide what kind of background we're going to use for the peacock feathers. To answer your question, Rob. Aslan's asking, do you blend with the zested on the detailed layers, or is it just the underlayer? Yep, I'll blend with the detailed layers as well. I'll just use a much finer brush to make sure that I don't overblend too much. Sandra's saying, how about the liquid pencil by Derivan? What? Liquid pencil? I've never heard of that. It sounds cool. Okay, so I'm using the umber now, and I'm going to start working on my edges a little bit better. So I'm going to be changing between umber and chestnut. So now I'm using some chestnut. I'm not worrying about those highlighted areas yet. That is easy enough to do last. Using our white pencil straight up over the black and the brown. We can use our white pencil on the sanded paper. I might just show you just in this section what I mean. You have to blow on your piece of paper all the time because it does get very powdery. No, Sandra, I haven't even heard of that before. Liquid pencil. I need to have a look. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate this small little section over here. So I'm going to blend that with a real small brush. Okay, now I'm going to use my white. Do I want to use white or cream? No, I'll use cream. Or yes, cream 049. So very sharp pencil. Luke says liquid pencil is creamy graphite in a jar. It looks cool to try. Oh, cool. Okay. Can you share that on the Facebook page? And I'll try it out. Good night, everybody. Good night, Brenda. Thank you for joining us. Everybody else is saying good night as well. Not good night, everybody. Okay, so now I can draw these highlighted patterns on here. that's going to give the box or the tray that sort of curve and shine over there. See how easy that was? And then I'll use my white. Ah, Esme would be intrigued. Graphite in a jar? What? So I'm using the white. Now I just want to work on this part of the tray while I'm sort of in this section. Maybe I will do this chocolate first, just to show you sort of where I'm going with this whole thing. Okay, let's do this chocolate over here. So something I might do is I'll use the cream just to sort of see where the highlights are. Okay, then I think I'll use the chestnut, I think, for the shadowed area here. And then what color did we use? I don't even know what color we used on there. Ochre? I think ochre? And use a bit more of the cream. Okay, I'm gonna use a real fine brush to blend that in now. And then bring some of those highlights back in slightly. See, that chocolate's starting to look quite tasty. Okay, and then using a black, let's put that shadow in there. Blend it in. And then using the ivory, I just want to sort of create just little like dots almost to show the highlight on the side of the tray here. There we go. So there's a chocolate and part of the tray. So that's sort of the way I want to work here. So if you just focus on one chocolate at a time and one section of the tray at a time, then you'll eventually get to the end. So I can only go for about another half an hour. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can within that half an hour. But at least you guys sort of get the idea. I might zoom in there real quick so you can see what that looks like. There you go. Cool. So yeah, that section there, that's sort of how we want to work all the rest of it. So I know I'm not going to get this done today, but I'm going to try and get as far as I can. So let's use the dark carmine again, and I want to work on the tray here, the lid of the tray. I need it to be even darker than that. So let's use some... Do I want to use that? No. Might use some indigo blue. Yes. Okay, so I'm using indigo blue number 139, which looks purple in the Pablo set. Doesn't actually look like indigo blue. But it will work. So mixing this with the dark carmine is going to give us the color that we want. So now I'm going to go over that with the dark carmine. Just spit on that. Okay, so same over here. I want to add indigo blue this top corner. Sorry guys, let me see if you have any questions. Thanks Luke for sharing the link to the liquid pencil. Clarice is asking, am I going to be drawing the lace and pink plastic stuff? Yes, I probably will. It just won't be, probably not, I won't get to do it in this live stream. If you want, I can add a part 2 to this. Do it live later on. Rob saying, is this paper similar to the UART 800? I don't know, because I haven't tried. But I don't think so. I think the UART 400 has more grit and the 800 is pretty smooth. So I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Thanks, Christy. Pamela says, I just looked up liquid pencil. I gotta buy it. Cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back over that with the dark carmine. The music I'm listening to, if anyone's wondering, is by Epidemic Sound. So I'm subscribed to Epidemic Sound and I just have a playlist going right now, so I'm not sure exactly which songs are playing. Okay, I think. The Pablo pencils don't have a nice deep red that I would like. So I'm just going to use the carmine and go over that as well again. Just roughly. Okay, blend that in. So I'm getting the darkness that I want, but not the color that I want, which is fine because I can just go over this again with red, the carmine, and it should be better. So sometimes you do have to, if you don't find the colors that you want in your pencil set, you're going to have to mix them up in this way to eventually get the color that you want. Okay, so I want that more red. So where will be my carmine at? So now I can use the carmine. So that's pink. I want red. Let's use scarlet. There we go. Yes, that's better. There we go. Add a layer of scarlet. Blend that in. Should finally be getting the reds that I want. Okay, I can work with that. So now I can start, so I'm going to use some of the vermilion. And then there's like these little lines. Sharpen your pencils, don't be lazy like me. And I'm pretty much putting those like slight reflections in here. Some of the dark carmine, which is not dark enough, so I'm going to use some of the indigo blue. It's getting there, getting there. Blend that in. I'm blending the indigo blue part in first. Okay, then blend in the red part. Clean brush. Very little on the brush. Come back in with a vermilion. So I'm gonna highlight and blend until I get the brightness that I want. So this is very bright over here. Okay. And then I think maybe the scarlet. Jeez. I'm gonna add some cream with the scarlet just to brighten it up a bit. Create that texture there. And then add the scarlet on top of the white. There you go, I like that. Okay, and now we can use a nice sharp white pencil and put in this white strip here. Carefully. Okay, then I'm using my very, very teeny tiny little brush because I want this white strip to be very nice and straight. I don't want it to have any of that texture in there. Oopsie. I quite like that. Such a small thing, just the lid can be so time consuming, but it's starting to look really nice and shiny. So let me see if you guys have any questions. Hey Valerie! Oh wow, Aslan, you're still young. That's good. You've been practicing art longer than I have. So I've only been working colored pencils for 4 years. But I've been working colored pencils full time for about 2.5 years. So I do 5 to 10 hours of drawing a day. So that sort of practice gets you very good at something pretty quickly. Right, I've got 15 minutes. This is what I managed to do in 15 minutes. Okay. I think I will. Do you guys want me to do part 2 as a live stream? So I could do part 2. So tomorrow I'm doing a class for my students on how to size your reference images from small to a large drawing. Maybe after that I could do part 2 of this live stream. But I got plans this afternoon, so I can't do anything today. So I could do that if you want. And yeah, if you guys want to know what supplies I'm using, I always put it in the description. Radio. Okay. Maybe we'll just keep working on the tray like I initially wanted to do before. So using my umber, I'm going to pay attention to where the dark parts of the tray are and where the light parts are. Okay, cool. I'll do part 2 tomorrow. For those that can't make it, that's alright. You guys can always watch it afterwards when you do have time. Tanya said, never heard of the text paper, just the touch. Yeah, well, Kansan makes both, and it's like you can get your hands on the text paper in Australia, but not the touch. And you can get your hands on the touch paper in the US, but not the text. They're both the same. The only difference is that the text paper is 5 grams heavier, but the grit and the surface of the paper is the same. They're the same, so it doesn't matter. Blend that in. Too much. Okay, sharp cream pencil. I may have gone a bit overboard with those, but that's alright. At least it's giving it that shape. So the minute I place that chocolate in there, it's going to look like it's not just a flat black circle, but like a three-dimensional chocolate. Okay, let's do the highlights on this chocolate so that we can sort of get an idea of where it's at. Okay, that's all the time that I have for today, but I will keep working on this tomorrow for you guys, and then you will be able to see how I finish this off. So the best part of this entire drawing is this lid. Nothing else quite yet, but we managed to draw one chocolate and the lid. That's what we finished. Otherwise, the rest is just the underpainting part of things. So the size of this drawing is about 5.5 inches by 3, almost 4 inches. And centimeters, it's 14.5 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. So it's a small drawing. And these live stream videos with the Color Pencil Magazine challenges every month just shows you how long color pencils take. Color pencils is a medium that you need a lot of patience with, but they're so much fun to use. And if you can sit down, listen to an amazing audiobook or something, you can spend hours on it anyways. It's very relaxing. It's very nice to be creative. So it sort of depends on you, if you're the kind of person that wants to do something quickly, or if you want to take your time and gradually build something up to what you can make out of it. So yeah, anyway, so that is part 1, and we will do part 2 tomorrow. I'll probably just pop on live when I'm ready, because it all depends on when I finish my live class with my students first. And then yes, we'll do part 2 of this and we'll finish it off. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the very kind, warm birthday wishes. It was very nice of you guys. Pamela, that is the tutorial that I'm doing tomorrow. That's for my students. You can subscribe to my website if you like, and then you'd be able to see it. I think it's for the $8 plus monthly subscribers. I'll be doing a tips and tricks video on how to size a reference onto a larger drawing surfaces. So we'll be using I'll show you how to divide your prints up into sections, to transfer it, how to use a projector, how to use it's called an art graph thing. So you have a small image, and then from that small image you can project it onto a bigger surface. All those things I'll be doing tomorrow for my students. That's not live, not going to be live on my channel. Yes, thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.